Best to refill your energy stores first. Why don't we go get some dinner together? I wouldn't say no, but you never care at all what food tastes like, Lee. A night like this deserves more than rubbish takeaway, so at least pick something good. Okay. Head out onto the pitch at Wyndham Stadium if you're ready. So, all that's left now is the final battle. We have made
there's still other stuff.
a lot of progress in this game. Challenger Trevor! Hey, it's the camera.
To the Dynamax Pokemon before I did!
It's the camera crew again. Got some time for questions? First question. You and Challenger Hop are both endorsed by the champion, making the two of you rivals in a sense, wouldn't you say? How's it feel to have defeated your rival? Feels great. I'm glad I could beat him. It doesn't feel quite real yet. I was just lucky that I won. I'm glad I could beat him. Right, question number 2. If you wanted to tell Challenger Hop something right now, what would it be? I thank you for the great match. I tell him how strong he was. That he was just the rival I knew he was. That is a double meaning. We'll go with that one. Because that could be said like, you were just the rival I knew you were, Hop. Or it could be said like, you are just the rival I knew you were. Love me, kiddo. Your honest thoughts here.
Really hate Hop.
Yes, I really, really do. Think you can win the finals too? I absolutely do. Alright, that's enough. Trevor's already tired from battle. Yeah, he's sick of hearing about how much better I am than you. And you've been asking rather rude questions. We got ourselves dinner plans with my brother, so sorry, but clear off already, would you?
Oh, look at him. He's protecting you from the media.
See, if he was the one being asked questions, he'd be more than welcome to sit here all day and answer every single one of them.
At least he's nice to you back, even if you're not nice to him.
What? Wait. No, he's not. Wait a minute here. No. My hatred for this man comes from how he's treated me in the past.
I never had a problem with Hop.
Just an insufferable little prick. Famous people sure
So
have it
he's
rough,
annoying.
I hope... Yes, he is annoying. He's very annoying.
That's not the same as him being mean.
No, okay, so...
He's a prick.
I need to rewatch some of the older episodes to actually get references, but I know there were several instances in which Hop has just been an insufferable little prick. But yeah. I hope they get to you soon. I can get my own arm about now. Please don't.
Several hours later.
This is absurd. Even Lee's never this late. Something's not right. He always does what he says he'll do. As a kid, he promised me he'd become champion one day, and he went and did just that. Excuse me, he ought to be able to keep his own dinner plans. Kid sure got a mouth on him, huh? If you were that noisy during battle, you'd unleash a whole new level of power, you know? Oh, pack it in, Piers. I'm seriously worried here. So I need to say, I don't need to see your smug mug looking like you're having a go at me, even though you act like you're giving me good advice. Judging by appearances, no wonder you lost to your mate. If you're looking for the champion, I saw him heading to Rose Tower. Oh. Well, what do you know? Don't know what he's up to, but I ran into him at the monorail platform. He said to tell you that he had something to do at Rose Tower, so he'd be late to your dinner. Why Rose Tower? What could he have to do there at this hour? Probably fight a final boss. Piers, do us a favor. Take us to Rose Tower, would you? Neither Trevor nor I know the way. Jeez, what rude siblings. Always so demanding.
Carries me so hard!
Though I suppose it's a real problem for me, too, if the finals are held up for any reason. And I don't really hate the two of you little runts. You were good enough to beat me, after all. So I think I'll invite Team... No! No! Why would you do that? No! No! Keep them away! We don't need them! No! Why would you invite Team Yell?
I think they need to help you.
What? They need to help me?
They're gym trainers. They know how to be responsible.
Do they now?
Yeah. Also, Hop just carried me in this tournament battle. But
I'm happy to hear that.
I didn't get to hit, like, the last 3 Pokemon. I didn't get to land a single hit. He did all of the work. I'm like... Ooh.
Man, why am I here for this? I'm totally exhausted from that battle with you, Trevor. We decided that Team Yell will cheer you on. Oh no, I don't want cheerleaders. I've been making fun of you the whole game. What? What a beautiful display of sibling love, however, it is entirely unnecessary. Oh, it's that deadpan waitress from Nessus Town.
Chairman Rose is with the champion in a very, very important meeting.
You mean the assistant for Chairman Rose?
Sure, let's go with that. There's no way I will let anyone interfere. Huh?
I don't remember her name.
Oleana.
Oleana? Oh yeah, that sounds about right.
After all, only authorized personnel with the proper key can ride the monorail to Rose Tower. That means that as long as Chairman Rose is in the tower, no one can disturb him. I have hand-selected a member of the League staff and given them a key. Chairman Rose does enjoy these kind of menial games after all. Do you think you can tell the difference between normal League staff and the one I chose? What? What?
Dun dun dun.
What? What do you want me to do what? This isn't good, I got this one. Trevor, Team Yellin will handle this. No, don't give them more work to do. No, this is brilliant, I'll search around the front of the stage. We have to play hide and seek?
It's not as hard as you think it is.
We have to play hide and seek to find a okay,
You'll
okay.
be fine. It's actually not as hard as you
Controller
think
down
it is
for a
right now.
second. Let's review. So, the chain of events here is we have to go to... We're supposed to have dinner with Hop's brother, but we can't do that because Hop's brother went to Chairman Rose's tower, probably to fight a final boss. So to go find Rose to find Leon at the tower, we have to take the monorail. But to take the monorail, we need a special key card. But to get this key card, we have to talk to one of the...
Well, to take a monorail specifically to Rose Tower, you need a special key card. You can take it anywhere else for free.
And this key card is in the possession of one specific League member, but this one specific League member just went and hid somewhere in town, so now to get it, we have to play hide and seek.
Yep. It's not as hard as you're making it out to be.
All I've said so far is that we're playing...
You will realize how easy it is in about 10 seconds? So,
okay. I took a quick look at him, and the only noteworthy characteristic is that he's wearing really obvious sunglasses. So I'm just gonna try to find someone with sunglasses. It's gonna be this guy, isn't he?
You know, I feel like maybe the reason I didn't have, like, I feel like many of, like, my numbness to things that are happening to you, and you reacting to what you're and me, like, not reacting to the things you're having big reactions to, maybe maybe have to do with the fact that I've played too many Pokemon games, and I may be numb to all of this.
Yeah, like sheep wrangling. Remember that fiasco?
I mean, it's not the weirdest thing I've done, so.
Also, I called it the one identifiable feature about him was the sunglasses, and the one person in the entire area who was turned around from us so that we couldn't see him was the one I had to check.
Yeah.
So.
It's pretty easy.
That's fantastic.
It is a kid's game. But what was I gonna say? There's been a lot of weird challenges and just tasks I've had to do over the years of Pokemon. That honestly not much surprises me anymore when it comes to these games. It's like, oh, these things are there's giant Pokemon? That's fine. Oh, I have to wrangle sheep? That's fine. Oh, these guys... Oh, you're related to this person? That's fine. Oh... Well, we have to play a tournament bracket to get to the end and then play like 3 more tournament brackets? Yeah, that sounds fine. Oh, there's a giant icy road I have to hike up and battle all these trainers? Yeah, that's fine. That was my attitude through most of this game. So if in the next game we go to space and we have intergalactic space battles against alien Pokemon, you won't bat an eye? Yeah. Great. Should I send you Ultra Sun or no? I'm gonna send you Ultra Moon. You want the normal moon or do you want Ultra Moon? Actually, let's ask the comments which one he should play. Should it be Ultra Moon or regular Moon? That's probably a better idea. Is just ask the people who are actually gonna, But by the way, just to let you know, not confirming that I'm gonna do another LP on a Pokemon game. I haven't decided that yet. Strictly in terms of what game I should play, regardless of a YouTube series or not. Ultra Moon or regular Moon? There's the question for you all. Yes. Because I still gotta get through this freaking game first. All I need to do is hide. I want to give you the key. What? No, you're gonna hide again? You're gonna play... He really doesn't want you to go to that tower.
Why? Great. Now we gotta hide. He's gonna. Okay. Great. Let's go find him again. Where are you hiding this time? You were just standing in front of a building before. Is this you? I don't think you know how to.
He doesn't.
This man lost every game of hide and seek he ever played as a kid.
He did.
Every single one of them. He's just standing in the middle of. He's just standing out in broad daylight. He does not have any concept of.
He was probably one of those kids who, like, his friends would tell him to go play hide and seek, and they just wouldn't look for him. That's probably why he thinks he's doing so well.
Maybe. Go, Mushu. It reminds me. I had a really fun board game. It was a Curious George board game. I think it was called Curious George Goes to the Zoo, where basically, you had to wear these animal masks, and you would hide around the house, and then one person had a little walkie-talkie thing, and you would go around the house trying to figure out where they were. And there was also like a tiger thing I had, where you would hide a tiger somewhere, and you had a stick thing that would beep when you got close to the tiger, and you had to like figure out where I was. I had a lot of cool stuff like that when I was a kid. They were fun.
I remember I hid in a hamper once for hide and seek, and no one could find me.
That's a question for the comments. What is your best hide and seek spot you've ever had?
I think the reason I didn't look in the hamper was because I was the tiniest of my friends, so no one else could fit in there. Except me. So they didn't think to look in there. I also don't like hide and seek in general, because when I was younger, we played, and then someone just never came to find me, and I got really scared and started crying.
Alright then.
Yep. That was my traumatizing experience with hide and seek.
There weren't really a whole lot of creative places to hide in my house when I was a kid.
Yep, my house sadly had too many.
Yeah, that would definitely make for your house would have definitely made for a giant playground for hide and seek.
Yeah. That's also part of the reason why it was so traumatizing.
Because I mean, as the seeker, you're just like, where do I even begin? Where would I possibly start looking?
Everyone always started by looking behind the curtains. It was always the curtains.
That's a really dumb hiding spot.
Whoa, you're like, what? You're 10? 5? 5 or 10? That's a really large acre. You were little, and little tiny brain goes, curtain, because I've seen it in the cartoons. At least that's what my brain did.
I think I usually hid in the closet just under a bunch of stuff, because the closet always had a bunch of just... He hid again?!
I think my parents were watching Star Wars.
He hit again!
It hit you, or you hit it? He hid.
He hit again!
Just so you know, for this last hiding spot, I was the blindest person on Earth.
Is he just hiding in the phone booth?
Yeah.
The windows are made out of glass, you idiot!
He's not the brightest.
He's
not the brightest bulb in the bad.
This man would try to hide in a bathroom shower where the door is made out of glass and be like, yeah, no one's ever gonna find me here.
Yeah, he was definitely that kid who just got left in this hiding spot.
Oh my god. I think, so what I was, you said something about Star Wars? I didn't hear you, I was too busy freaking out about the fact that he
I think my parents are watching Star Wars.
Yeah. That's one thing. I never really had a big emotional connection to Star Wars. I mean, I guess to the Lego games, technically, because that was one of the first games I played, was the Lego Star Wars game. But, like, I played through that before I had ever seen any of the Star Wars movies. So I never really had a emotional connection to it. Like, I mean, I just... All the plot twists, namely the big one in Empire Strikes Back, it just had no effect on me, because it's like, yeah, I mean, I played the Lego game, I know that's how that is.
Yeah, I watched them growing up, so that was my childhood. My household was all Star Wars all the time.
I know, because when I went to pick you up to go see a movie, the year that The Last Jedi came out, you had a chalkboard on your front door saying countdown to the next Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
Because
we are a Star Wars and Marvel family.
And you got me hooked on Marvel.
Yeah, when those movies come out, we go watch them all together. Even my sister joins in, which is a feat.
Yeah, I can imagine that. She doesn't seem like the type who would be super interested in that type of thing ordinarily.
She's interested when we go to see it. Like, she asks like 100 billion questions. But like, yeah, those are our family outings: going to see Star Wars movies and going to see Marvel movies.
Basically.
Yeah.
So actually, there's a question for you. I'm going to effectively coerce you into pissing off the entire audience, probably.
Oh no.
Rank the Star Wars movies.
Oh, actually, my ranking is not very. Actually, nah. Yeah, it's pretty. It's.
And I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. To make it fair, I will also list my rankings, but it's not going to mean much because I don't care about them at all.
From bottom to top.
It's easier that way, because
I need to rewatch like the original trilogy because I haven't watched them recently enough to like give a fair opinion in comparison to the most recent 6, because like I've watched all 6 of those relatively recently. But I can't say just from like what I remember. Those 3 are definitely at the top, but I'm not gonna rank them because I don't remember which ones are better than the other ones because I haven't watched them in a really long time. Anyways, for the bottom 6, the ones you actually care about, for me, it would go Attack of the Clones. No, the Phantom Menace. No, that's at the bottom.
Sorry.
No, it's worse. The Phantom Menace worse.
I'm sorry.
Then Attack of the Clones.
I'm gonna interrupt you really quickly. This man ran away again. Stop running away! Just stand still and give me the cake card.
And
Please continue before I lose my mind.
Can I just tie the Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones together? Because I can't decide whether having a boring plot or a cheesy romance plot is a bigger crime.
I don't think anyone's gonna hold you in contempt for saying that Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones are bottom of the barrel trash.
Yeah. And then the next, I probably tie Rise of Skywalker and Revenge of the Sith together. That took me a minute to remember the name of. Just because there are aspects of both movies that I really like, yet there are other aspects where I go, the frick were you thinking?
Basically, yeah.
That's how I. And then the next one would be, I actually know. The Last Jedi would be below The Force Awakens for me. I like The Force Awakens more than The Last Jedi, but I still liked it. I still like The Last Jedi more than the other 4.
So, I know that people... Oh god, what is happening? Oh Jesus Christ, they're stampeding down the stairs. What the... We got the key, Piers. We can take Monroe to Rose Tower now. How did you... okay. What is happening? Trevor, hop. Now's your chance. Go, get out of here.
They're distracting him.
Oh, okay. Search of the Bad League. Okay, great. We did it. That was... What was that? Oh my god, okay.
He sung a song to distract them.
No, I understand what he did. I'm talking, like, from a design standpoint. What was that part of the game? Play hide and seek for 10 minutes, and then just... Okay. I'm... This game has has taken its toll on me, let me tell
Wait
you.
till you play a different Pokemon game. You're gonna be in for many more shocking surprises of why the heck is this happening right now?
Oh, I can't wait. It's gonna be great. Anyway, so
Honestly, I think I'm just numb to it.
I guess I should probably give my rankings since to make it fair. So, I'll also go bottom. I mean, our rankings are actually probably pretty similar.
Give or take like 1 or 2.
Although I will definitively put Attack of the Clones before, after Phantom Menace, because, like, at least Phantom Menace has Duel of the Fates. Attack of the Clones has nothing.
Attack of the Clones has nothing. They have the cheesy romance plot.
How could I forget such a...
They have that, but I'm not really sure if that's a positive.
That is decidedly not a positive. The acting throughout all the prequels is just atrocious.
Hey, do you want to see a piece of cardboard? Here you go.
Yeah, that's basically it. Also,
The only thing with like,
I'll try spinning. That's a good trick.
I probably would rank the third movie better if it hadn't been like retroactively made better by the Clone Wars. But like, if you were just looking at it alone without the Clone Wars, it wasn't that good.
Oh yeah, it's definitely the strongest of the prequel trilogy.
Yeah,
But
at least they kinda figured out what they were doing.
Not that that's saying a whole lot, but still.
Yeah, the spinning pinwheel of death.
I'll try.
When they were choreographing that scene, looked at this and said, "Yeah, that's a great idea."
I'll try spinning. That's a good trick. That line.
Some things in the prequels where I just look at it and say, "What the hell were you thinking?
Now this is
Why did you include this?" Like, the pod racing scene is really entertaining,
But
but
why is it
the
here?
movie and everything else around it, I have many questions. Also, I think it's a sign your movie's bad when I can fall asleep to it, wake up, and still know exactly what's happening.
And not miss a beat.
And because your plot is that boring and that predictable.
I did that for Now You See Me Too. I fell asleep after the first act, skipped the entire second act, I woke up in the third act, except the difference is that I had no idea what the hell was going on. That was a... Oof. Anyway, okay.
It's like you can fall asleep for like an hour and you wake back up and nothing has happened. It's like, oh, you're still doing stupid stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Back to my nap. Who comes after those two?
Oh, right, so, Revenge of the Sith is above that, like, slightly. Like, the three prequels are pretty close to each other in terms of how bad they are, but... Oh, I didn't
Gave it
know
a
this. Crap.
shot.
Yeah, so, I mean, Revenge of the Sith, honestly, the only reason why it's higher is because it has that final battle, between Obi-Wan and Anakin. That's really well choreographed.
Yeah, some of the prequel like choreography was really good. And then some of it was just really bad.
For instance, like I said, Phantom Menace has Duel of the Fates, Darth Maul. That's the only positive.
Positive. Duel of the Fates.
Wait, no, sorry. One more. There's one more thing about Phantom Menace. C-3PO and R2-D2 meeting. That... I smiled.
Yes. You gave a smile in the piece of cardboard that was the rest of that movie.
Which, by the way, fun story, before I continue with my rankings.
I didn't make him watch these movies, by the way, so...
He didn't. No, sorry. Yeah, no, she didn't force me to watch. I had already seen all the Star Wars movies before we met.
He did this of his own volition.
Yeah. So, at dinner, my parents, my dad's old college friend, or whatever, she's laughing because she remembers this story.
I remember this story, it's so funny.
His old college friend was coming into town, and this old college friend had a daughter. And magically, he took the two of us to a fancy restaurant randomly for no reason at all.
Hint, hint.
So I'm like, all right, I see what you're doing here. This isn't gonna happen for like 1,000 different reasons. But you know, well, so I'll humor this. So Like, the other thing is that it was coming out, like, I had to go to this dinner at the night that a game I'd really been looking forward to was coming out, so I just didn't want to be there at all for, like, 1,000 different reasons. So I thought, okay, what can I do to try to make this less boring for myself? I'll try to... So I was just talking to her about random things. I was looking for something I could nab onto to make conversation slightly more interesting. And then she said she was a fan of the Star Wars movies. And that's when I went, oh, this will be fun. Because... I don't think it's controversial to say that Star Wars, how people rank the Star Wars movies is pretty controversial for a lot of people. So, what I decided in my head was I was going to ask her not to rank the Star Wars movies because that would have taken us all night. I was going to ask her which set of 3 was her favorite and least favorite. And whatever she said her least favorite was going to be, I would come up with a reason to praise it as the best. Now...
I'll help me guess what her least favorite was.
That job would have been easy if it was the original trilogy. However, as is to be expected, her least favorites were the prequels. So, I had to come up with, on the spot, a very elaborate defense for why the prequels are some of the best movies ever made.
And I think it was in that moment you probably realized, wow, there's really not many redeeming qualities of these movies, are there?
Oh, are you kidding me? I don't think you understand. I went full BS mode. I said that Jar Jar being incompetent was a perfect metaphor for people in society who start off being bad at things, but then by the end of it, they grow to become really, really strong, and it's a metaphor for how we can learn to, even though we may not start out as being super skilled, we can always learn to grow and improve on ourselves. And
yeah, Jar Jar did none of those things and was just a nuisance the entire time.
What do you mean? At the end of The Phantom Menace, he led the war against the robot android things. He really grew as a character.
The fact that you called them robot android things shows how memorable this movie was.
Yeah, exactly. Like, here's the thing. I needed something to keep my brain stimulated for that night. And, she was going insane. She was like, she could not believe that I was actually unironically defending this game, or this
well, in
movie.
her opinion, you were unironically defending it.
Like, well, as far as she was concerned, I was unironically defending it. So it's just like, she was freaking out, and like, I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure she thought I was being serious, because I was just, it was fun. Because I had to come up with these insane reasons to justify it. Also, I think I also said that, the romance in Attack on the Clones
Please no.
was a bold new direction for the Star Wars franchise, because for once it wasn't just space battles and lasers blasted back and forth. There was actual, true, genuine character work that was going on, like actual, real emotional relationships. I heard you smack your head there. That was going on in the movie. And she's freaking out right now, knowing that I'm not being serious. Imagine what the person that my dad was trying to set me up with was thinking that I was being serious.
You probably cried on the way home.
She's like, my whole world is crashing down upon me. There's people who are actually this insane.
She was probably talking about how much she hated you.
Then I say mission accomplished. I done diddly did it.
We didn't get past your prequel rankings. What comes after the prequels?
Okay, so I'll get back to that in a second. One last thing I want to say. My original plan to get out of that dinner, by the way, was to have ForgetfulGal45 show up at the dinner like, hey guys, what's going on here? And
but
just
I
make
had
it...
school.
Unfortunately, that would have been hilarious if she showed up. So I had to come up with a prequel plan. But as for what's past the prequel rankings, it's Rise of Skywalker is right above the Revenge of the Sith. I watched that movie. I think the moment the movie lost me was when Rey lightning struck a dropship out of the air. And that was the point when I just went, what? So
the way, this is how I describe that movie. I split it into the 3 acts. The only person who I think most people will agree on this, Kylo Ren had the best character arc, hands down, period. No, you can't argue with me otherwise. Aside from that, the acting wasn't cardboard.
Well, I mean, that's what I would say, is that, like, visually, audibly, and in terms of actors' presentations...
It was really good.
Yes, absolutely.
Then you look at the script.
And then you want to kill yourself, because you're just like, who...
It's literally like... It was really like you had all the elements to make a great movie, and then somehow you turned your script into a dumpster fire.
Who wrote this word salad? And like, the thing is, the sequel trilogy was fundamentally flawed from the start, because I don't know what rocket scientist decided, hey, let's give the first movie of the trilogy to one person, the middle movie to a different
terrible
person,
idea.
and then the third movie to the same person who wrote the first movie.
That was probably where they messed up, honestly, with the sequel trilogy. They didn't have the same director for all three. But, like, the first two were fine, because the director they gave it to afterward was able to build off of the first one relatively easily. Just when they gave it back to the first director, everything fell apart.
I mean, it was kind of comical in a way, because it's like, oh, the lightsaber was broken in the mask was broken in in Last Jedi. That's fixed now. The lightsaber is gone. That's been repaired. Luke threw the lightsaber in The Last Jedi. Undid that essentially when Luke came out of the fire.
The way I heard it described by like one reviewer was like they took everything that was built up really well in The Last Jedi and just threw it out the window. I've also heard it described as like a knee-jerk reaction to like the negativity that was related to The Last Jedi, which I still honestly don't understand because I thought the movie was really good.
I don't really. The thing is, I don't really care enough about Star Wars to actually invest myself in the online discourse.
Yeah, I kind of like decided that like if I don't want to pull my hair out, I probably shouldn't get involved with Star Wars trolls. Because
that's just a good rule of life for trolls in general.
Yeah, it's never gonna end well. It's just like just say, okay, you have this opinion, good for you, goodbye.
There's also the entire fight. Like the movie lost me halfway through because it's just none of it made any sense as to what was happening.
Oh, I didn't get to explain like how I broke this movie up.
Yeah, keep going.
So how I broke this movie up was like the first part, the pacing was bad, but I thought it was starting off pretty well aside from that. And then it got a little confusing because Palpatine. The whole Palpatine thing was God. I was fine with it, honestly, by the end of it. I just kind of wish they showed Palpatine coming back at the beginning of the movie, and then I would have been more fine with it.
So, here's the thing. The Death Star blew up twice. How the hell did Palpatine survive that?
It's the same way because Star Wars.
That's some logic right there. Like, he should not still be alive. Also, the Death Star itself should not be in that great of condition on that planet. Like, if it blew up to the degree of the explosion we saw in Return of the Jedi... I think
they said they rebuilt it, because they keep rebuilding the Death Star.
Wait, so they only rebuilt part of it on that planet?
Did they?
No, okay, so I'm referring to... So end of Return of the Jedi, they blow up the Death Star, that's the end of the trilogy. It's been annihilated, atomically destroyed.
Yes.
Rise of Skywalker, a large chunk of that Death Star is in perfect condition on whatever planet they land on.
I don't... Oh, I remember. I know what part you're talking about. When they go to Yavin 4, because that's where it was.
It's whatever, the planet where Rey becomes Moana and sails across the Great Sea.
Yeah, that was Yavin 4. Okay,
I don't know the planet name, so sure, we'll go with it.
I'm a little bit of a Star Wars nerd.
In case you can't tell.
A little bit. But... Yeah, I haven't watched the first 3 movies recently enough to give you an in-depth analysis of the explosion.
Okay, so let's talk about the knife then. That knife makes no sense.
Which knife?
The knife, okay, so they fall in quicksand, which goes into a cave. They find the knife in that cave.
Oh, okay, I know what knife you're talking about, but...
That apparently no one checked beforehand, especially since it's right near the ship. So they check the cave, and then they find this knife, which there's a separate compartment of the knife that you can only... that lines up with a part of the Death Star that was destroyed... my brain... Okay. This knife, for context, the Death Star was destroyed, but the knife only... like, if you hold up the knife to the Death Star, it lines up with a part of it to show, like, where you have to go to find a thing. Like
I was kind of under the impression that the knife was made after the Death Star blew up.
Which means, okay, so that means that someone would have had to come to this planet.
I mean, there were people on that planet. Yavin 4 is where the Rebel base was.
Yeah, okay, but they wouldn't have been the ones to make the knife in the first place.
Hello?
Oh, did I cut out?
Yes.
Okay, so they wouldn't have been the ones to make the knife in the first place.
Honestly, most of the problems from, like, Rise of Skywalker just comes down to who wrote this script and why.
Also, big thing here, I hate what they did with Leia. Like, I understand that they didn't...
It's like the only reason, like, I wish they would have done something else with Leia, but, like, I understand why they had to do it, because she wasn't around anymore. How are they going to be able to do anything else with it? They had to do something.
But they didn't have to do that, because, you know, so... What would have been way more respectful is if they opened the movie on a funeral. They just opened the movie, and she's passed away. Because there's already a massive time skip after The Last Jedi.
I think the reason they didn't do that was because, she had already started filming for that movie.
That doesn't mean...
Scenes filmed, and I don't think they wanted to just throw those away.
Aren't those...
Because that would have been, like... I think it would have been more disrespectful to throw away the work that she had already done, rather than just make it a funeral. I mean, we're gonna see another, we're gonna, like, soon enough, like, when the next Black Panther comes out, we're gonna see how they react to that, since, like, Chadwick Boseman passed away this year, which is another big-name actor who's essential to a series.
I think they said, Marvel's already said they're not gonna, they're just gonna
They said they're not gonna CGI it, but they haven't said what they're gonna do besides that.
I imagine they're probably gonna open on a funeral, and then the torch will be passed down to probably Shuri.
People are hoping. Then there's another camp on the internet who's like, please, if you're going to recast this role, which we hope you're not, but if you really need
they
to,
shouldn't
give it
recast
to Denzel Washington's son. Because Denzel Washington was the reason that Chadwick Boseman got to where he was.
If it gets to that point, but I still say they shouldn't recast him. They should just...
Yeah, I don't think they should recast him. I think it should be handed down to Shuri.
Also, there's a problem with the explanation of Leia, because none of that footage was stuff filmed for The Rise of Skywalker. That was all deleted footage from The Force Awakens. Every single scene with Leia.
I was under the impression that they'd already started filming Rise of Skywalker, because they filmed all the films, like... movie film.
Which is a fair assumption to make, but it's been confirmed that that was all just deleted scenes from The Force Awakens. So they just had to stitch together, like, and you can tell when you're watching it that they just stitched these scenes together.
I don't really tell. Maybe I'm just blind.
It doesn't work at all.
Anyways, I didn't finish breaking down my movie, how I separate this movie. I really like the middle-y bit. And by the middle-y bit, I mean the scenes on Yavin 4. And then the ending... Do we want to talk about the ending of that?
Okay. So I'm in the game right now. I'm staring at Oleana's face, and she's pissed off that we're at the top of the roast tower, and that is approximately my reaction to the end of this goddamn movie.
I have mixed feelings about it.
So before we get to the ending, I just want to bring something up really quickly. They introduced force healing in this movie.
Oh. See, that wasn't a problem for me because Star Wars lore also existed somewhere else in Star Wars lore. They didn't, it existed already in Star Wars lore, it just hadn't appeared in the movies.
So, the obvious question there is, why was it not used before this point?
What do you mean?
If force healing existed in the universe, why would they not have used it in previous situations?
Okay, so, what I think... I can't explain why Rey has it, but I can't explain why it exists. So...
That wasn't... My question was why would they not have used it? Because if force healing exists, then...
No, that's what I was getting to. So, like, healing with the force specifically used to be a thing that they trained for at the Jedi Temple. So you would receive training for it in order to use it, which is why I said I can't explain why Rey has it, but I can explain why someone would have it. So it can be like assumed that most of the Jedi we see aren't trained in Force healing, but it is something that is possible because it is canonical fact that there used to be Jedi healers at the temple before everything, the Jedi got wiped out.
So then, in theory, the people in the prequel should have been able to heal Qui-Gon then.
He fell down a giant hole. He would have been dead before they got back to the temple. That was the problem because the Jedi on the planet then didn't know Force healing.
Wait, I thought Darth Maul was the one who fell down the giant hole. I thought Qui-Gon was just lying on the ground.
Well, you can't heal death.
What? That happens in The Rise of Skywalker. That happens in The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, that's why I said. That's why I just said. At least you didn't think you could heal death. You can switch life forces, though. Apparently, I didn't see that. That wasn't a thing I thought you could do until then. But at that point, I was already like, "This is a script. This is a movie now. It's happening. I still like it more than the prequels."
Just like Force healing just breaks everything. Also, that final battle. Oh my god. Just.
It could. I liked Kylo Ren's bit.
Just tilt the ship, and they'll fall off the ship.
Oh, was she talking about them running on the ship?
Yes, all you have to do is just rotate it like 45 degrees, and they will plummet. That should have been the first thing they did. Also, these ships can't... the ships don't know how to go up. Like...
Which ships?
Okay, so the thousands of Star Destroyers they have in that final battle... The premise of that thing is they don't know how to fly up.
Oh no! So the premise of it was they needed a satellite to direct them direct them the clear path up because there were a bunch of storm clouds overhead or something.
What? No, the direct quote from the movie is when Poe says, "Oh, Nav can't tell which way is up out there." Like, just look at the goddamn window.
You really shouldn't be surprised by this movie anymore.
So there's that, which they don't know how to go up. Then there's also, how exactly did they get that giant army of the good guys through the red rock things?
What's the red rock?
So there's a maze of, like, they need the Pathfinder thing to navigate the asteroid field or whatever's in front of that place where all the Star Destroyers are. So how did that giant fleet of good guys get through that asteroid belt?
You mean the astro belt on the atmosphere?
Okay, so at the beginning of the movie, it opens with Kylo flying through a red-tinted area with a bunch of space rocks or whatever. And to get through that maze, he needs this Pathfinder triangular prism thing to plot a safe course through it.
Oh, the holocron.
Yeah, okay, he needs the holocron to get through the maze or whatever. How does that massive horde get through that?
Oh, because what was it? I believe because Rey had to do it. So I think the movie was implying that they had the coordinates of how to get through it, and it was just relayed to everyone else. Because the ships were small enough to get through. The ships were smaller than the warships that are trying to get out.
I don't think you properly understand how big... Like, first off, the Millennium Falcon was among them. That is not a small ship.
No, I mean, like, in comparison to the warships. That's what I was using as a comparison.
Okay, but, like, even just Kylo's X-Wing that he flew to get there was barely missing the rocks around it. The Millennium Falcon alone would have been way bigger than it needed to be to pass by those rocks.
Hey, it made the it made the whatchamacallit run in like 11 parsecs.
I don't
remember what the run was. It's that thing Han bragged about.
Smuggler's Run?
Yes! In like something parsecs. The ship will survive.
That's not how size works.
I know, but the drivers are crazy enough to make it happen.
I don't care how good of a driver you are, you can't outwit
I didn't say they
size.
were good. I said they were crazy.
I don't care how crazy a pilot is, it can't outsize the asteroid belt.
Well, they did something.
Like the... Also, I don't...
Honestly, how I usually grade movies on, because I feel like it's unfair to grade a movie solely based off its plot, just because there are other aspects of a movie that hold it together, aside from the plot. Though the plot is a big indicator of it.
It's the plot and the characters. Everything else...
The plot and the characters are the big things. If you have one but not the other, you can still get away with making a decently watchable movie. But if you don't have either of those things, what are you making?
You're making visual splendor. You're making eye candy at that point.
You're making eye candy that makes no sense. The saving grace of Rise of Skywalker was its character development. Because the way the characters interacted and just the way the characters interacted in the movie and the way they just were present in the world, despite this terrible freaking plot, was much more believable than anything the prequels pulled off.
He tried, I'll give him that. JJ definitely tried to give the main trio chemistry.
He tried. He spent more time on Kylo Ren though.
Comparatively, I'd say so, yeah.
Yeah, I think the one consistent aspect of all three of those movies was Kylo Ren. That was the one thing I guess they wrote out before they started writing these movies. This is the exact character arc this character will take. And that was it. That was all they had to work on.
I don't know if I'd take it that far. Oh, also, the ending of the movie. Well, first off, Kylo heals Rey, which, on a purely personal level, I hate the fact that they one-for-one copy Endgame, where Palpatine says, "I am all the Sith," and then Rey reflects with, "I am all the Jedi." My head, that was the biggest facepalm I'd ever experienced. Was that moment? It's like, oh.
Which is why Disney promptly handed over Star Wars writing rights over to Kevin Feige and Jon Favreau.
It was also wasn't the whole.
They handed it over to the guys who wrote Clone Wars and Jon Favreau and said, "Fix our mistake."
I also the final shot where Rey adopts the Skywalker name. I'm like, really?
I think with a better movie, that moment would have been much more emotional.
The reaction probably still would have been the same. It would have been like, really?
Even if I think they could have. I think they could have done more to make. They could have done more to make the payoff better. I kind of wish. I feel like in a better script of this movie, Rey would have gotten her lightsaber earlier.
Probably.
Skywalker is just a really good lesson in why you don't change your directors halfway through the movie process.
The Rise of Skywalker.
To the old one.
The thing is, The Rise of Skywalker is probably the most consumer-friendly movie out of the three sequel trilogy movies, and the proof of that is my family, because they went to go see it, we went to go see it together, and every single one of my family members said, "Oh, that was great, I loved it," and then I started asking questions about the plot, and they couldn't answer any of it because none of it makes any sense. But to an average, to the average moviegoer who's just going to see it as just the new Star Wars movie,
it's enjoyable.
It's very fast-paced. There's a lot of things constantly happening. There's a lot of action. It's light breakneck pace is what I would describe this movie as. You have no time.
The pacing. The pacing.
You have no time to think about anything. It is breakneck pace. A character will say something, and you'll be like, is that how that works? But before you have time to think about it, they'll switch to another thing. It's like, wait, you guys gotta slow down. You're going too fast for me.
I think the point where you can tell... There are points where you can tell, the movie wanted to do something, but it just wasn't doing it well.
Yeah.
I think this movie, I think it would have benefited massively if they hadn't switched the director again.
That's just the whole trilogy in a nutshell.
Yeah, if they had switched it once and then just kept going with the director who did Last Jedi, it would have been probably fine. And you probably could have. And the movie was fine on its own because it's enjoyable, even if it's like, what the heck is happening? It's enjoyable to watch. But it could have been amazing. That's the thing.
Because, the whole sequel trilogy, The Force Awakens set up so many things that The Last Jedi couldn't deliver on because Rian Johnson wanted to do his own thing, so he set new things up, and then JJ's like, no to all of that, and went back to the old stuff, and it's just...
It's like if he had just kept going with, like, the new things that have been set up, it would have been a completely different movie and a completely different reaction.
Yeah,
because you wouldn't have had that problem of trying to backtrack just because, oh, I got traded out for the second movie. Who cares? Let's go back to my idea.
That's this trilogy in a nutshell, all right.
Yeah.
It's
Ugh.
That's my reaction to Rise of Skywalker. Like, my family loves it because it's, like I said, it's very consumer friendly. Like, casual audiences will adore it. But the second you start to think about it for even a second, it just collapses at the seams.
That's kind of squarely tie it to Revenge of the Sith in my ranking, because Revenge of the Sith has a plot that makes sense from beginning to end. It's just the execution of that plot is completely batshit crazy.
I would rather watch Rise of Skywalker than Revenge of Sith, only because the acting is better. Because the story is, like, the story of Rise of Skywalker makes no sense at all.
But everything else about it is, it's a movie. It makes an actual movie that, like, is enjoyable to watch if you turn your brain off enough.
If you literally don't think about anything, then yes.
Then you'll have a good time. Revenge of the Sith has the problem where you can't turn your brain off to the fact that this is just boring.
Yeah.
There's nothing to distract you from it.
So I'm about done with hating on things. So let's move forward. Let's move higher up the list, shall we?
I want to see the timer for how long we just spent about talking about Rise of Skywalker.
Well, to give you an idea, we started talking as I got in the elevator, and I'm currently finishing up my battle against Oleana.
Oh, so the Evil Guy's Tower, we spent the entire time talking about why the plot sucks and why it's still somehow, and why it's better than the, why the plot could have been so much better than it was.
Basically. So
how this movie had everything it could have wanted, and then they had a script.
So, quick question. If I lose to Oleana, do I have to do that entire elevator over again?
I have no idea. I don't think so.
Okay. So in that case, I need to get Hal out here, and I need to start healing. But so higher up the list, the next ranking I had was.
Anyways, to the 5 good movies.
Rise. Okay, so I put Last Jedi up right above Rise of Skywalker.
Last Jedi was honestly really, really fun to watch.
I didn't. So I saw The Force Awakens in theaters, because even though I didn't care at all about Star Wars, I'm like, hey, it's the new Star Wars movie coming out. Yeah, I mean, it's a cultural phenomenon. I grew up playing the Lego Star Wars games. May as well go see it. Unfortunately, as was the case with another thing that was released in 2015, the biggest part of that movie was spoiled for me beforehand.
Dun dun dun.
And I'm sure you can probably guess what that was.
I think, yeah. Yeah, I know what it is. I know what it is.
Yeah.
Anyways, with Last Jedi, the message that it sent at the end, I love the message that the movie sent at the end. And then Rise of Skywalker came out. But we're going to talk about this movie on its own.
Well, I mean, so the message alone is not enough to hold up a movie, because the number one defense for Apollo Justice is, but the themes are so good. Yeah, I don't care.
There are other things good about this movie, but like I just liked the message it had to say at the end. By the end of the movie, I thought it was well done.
Which is nice. I mean, you know, it's nice to have a theme that you can take away from it, but you can't base an entire movie on a theme.
I'm just saying I like the message. You need to consider everything as a whole. There are multiple aspects that make a movie. Just because it fails on one aspect doesn't mean the entire movie has to just be thrown in the garbage. It's like when I rate movies, I have a checklist of things that this movie has to fulfill to be called a good movie.
So, pretty simple. Just have a plot that makes sense and is engaging, and have characters that have genuine development, and then you're pretty much all good there. Like, there's more nuance to it than that, but that's the general. Nail the plot, nail the characters, and you're good. And then everything else is subsidiary. So, like, for instance, what's an example of something that happened recently? I can't think of an example off the top of my head. But, like, if, let's say you have a movie where the music is phenomenal, the acting is great, and it's visually stunning, that's all cool, and that can help enhance the story you're witnessing. But if the nice thing I can say about your movie is that it looks pretty and it sounds cool, that's not a compliment.
Can I think of one?
I'm racking my brain here. Honestly,
the thing that keeps coming to mind is
except for Rise of
Avatar.
Avatar. Oh yeah, that is the prime example of style over substance, of creating a movie that looks nice and pretty but has nothing substantive beneath it, like, at all.
And they're gonna make 5 more.
Because of course they are.
At least people have a different thing to throw apples at for saying, hey, why the heck did you make this?
I guess it... Oh, you know what? The Lion King. The Lion King 2019.
Oh, yeah, that probably makes sense.
Visually, like, I don't have the words to express it. It is stunning. And the music, it's the same music from the original movie. It's gonna be good. But it's still a soulless, lifeless remake, and they're making a sequel to it.
I haven't seen Milan yet, so I plan on seeing it soon, but I've heard Milan's like that. I want to see it just because I'm curious. I'm honestly curious. It's the same reason why I watched The Hulk.
I'll say this much. Wait, for the love of God, wait until it's available on Disney Plus for free. Do not pay $30 to watch that. Oh my God.
That's why I haven't seen it yet. I was waiting.
Let me make this crystal clear. I love the original Mulan. It is phenomenal.
I think everyone loves Mulan.
Good God, the new Mulan was horrendous. Like, I want to rip into it right now, but she hasn't seen it, and I don't want to spoil anything. Just, when you watch that movie... Actually, you know what? Tell you what. When it comes available on Disney Plus, I'll watch it with you, and we'll watch it together. And we'll... Because you will want to... I promise I won't hate on it as we're watching it. I promise I won't do that. But you will want to turn it off if you watch it by yourself. You will not want to finish this movie. You will not want to finish it by yourself.
Okay.
I can promise you that much.
We completely stopped talking about The Last Jedi.
Yeah, so, continuing with The Last Jedi. So, I'll give my context for the movie as to how I originally saw it. When I first... I saw The Force Awakens and I enjoyed it, but I didn't go to see The Last Jedi because I wanted to. We were going to go see it, and then the day it came out, I saw that it was trending on Twitter, and all I saw was the most polarizing reactions from both sides. Like, I had never seen a movie that had been that polarizing before in my entire life.
Oh yeah, this movie was literally like either you loved it or you hated it.
Also, we'll get back to this conversation in a second. First, I'm gonna, there's a really dramatic scene happening on top of this cliff. Look around us, Leon. Look at the Galar region stretched out before us, and know that the energy required to keep this brilliant, glittering world alive will be exhausted a millennium from now. The people of Galar today will no longer even exist. When Galar wants today hardly matters. The future is more important than just one day. We must act as quickly as we possibly can. We must take action in order to avert tragedy, so that we can all look forward to a better future. Leon, in 1,000 years! Fine. Look, I think I understand your concerns, Chairman, and I give my word I'll help you with your plans. Just as soon as tomorrow's match is over. Traitor! Lee, You never showed up when you were supposed to, so I got word that something had happened. But it turns out you're just a dirty little traitor. Piers and Marnie and all those Team Yellow Oddballs, they all helped us get out of there. I must apologize to you, Hop, if we've made you worried at all. There are times when adults just can't seem to have an honest discussion with one another. Sometimes our pride just gets in the way. Never mind any of this, Hop, Trevor. Let's get back to the hotel and we'll all grab dinner together, yeah? It's on me, so you can order whatever you fancy. No. No. What? Are we not gonna do anything about this? What? What? We're just gonna walk away?
Well, he hasn't done anything wrong yet.
Well, he
That's
just
what
outlined
he's
his
actually
illegal...
done anything about. That's what I tell you of a bunch of Pokemon games. It's just like, well, they haven't done anything wrong yet.
He just outlined his whole evil plan. You still don't understand, young champion. We know. I'm going to change the course of history, said every megalomaniac ever.